Hey there, welcome everybody. So glad to have you back in the studio with me this evening. It has been several weeks since I have posted on the live stream, so it's so great to be back in the studio with you. I'd been out of town doing some traveling for work and for pleasure, but it's great to be back in the mountains and back with you this evening. If you've been here before, you know how this live stream works. It's really informal. Pop in, stay as long as you'd like. You can participate in the live stream wherever you watch on the comments on whatever platform you're finding us on. So feel free to ask questions or to make comments as we go through the live stream. I really enjoy engaging with you as we go through the evening. This live stream is my Learn to Paint journey. Several years ago, I started teaching myself to paint, and at the beginning of this year, I transitioned from acrylic to oil paints, and so this is kind of my process along that journey. Every week we start a new painting, and I bring you along on the journey. So this is exactly what we're doing this evening. I'll show you kind of what we're going to paint this evening. It's a little bit different, and then we'll dive right in. But let's go ahead and get started. Welcome. So glad to see you joining. Let's see. It's been a few weeks, so I'm trying to remember all the things I need to say. All right, let me switch you over to this camera here, and I will get this set up for my canvas so you can see what we're going to be doing, and then I'll kind of explain what we're doing. So let us go right to the canvas. Okay. Just trying to make sure it's all set up. All right. Welcome. Hey there, Mom and Dad. So good to have you pop in as always. Thank you. I went to Spearfish today, ran through the canyon, and the colors were pretty. There were a bunch of mountain goats out, or the sheep. I guess those are sheep in the canyon. But they were in the middle of the road, about 8 or 10 of them, really playing around. So, but I'm a little concerned with this wind that I may have missed for the second year, the peak colors, because I think there were several that had dropped their leaves already. So we shall see this week or this weekend if I missed the colors, if they've all dropped their leaves because of the wind. That happened last year, I remember. I went out basically one weekend too late, and they had dropped their leaves, and plus I went right after it was kind of peak color. So I know there are apps that you can follow that kind of tell you, and I need to see if there's one that's really accurate for the Black Hills, because I've been seeing a lot of people posting down in Colorado, because they have been in peak color for a bit, and a lot of people apparently are invading Colorado. All right, hey there. Thanks so much, Sarah. It's great to see you. I hope you and the fam are doing well. Haven't seen you for years. It's crazy how time passes, isn't it? I think the last time we saw each other, I was living in Wisconsin, wasn't it? Or something like that. I thought, wasn't you came through Wisconsin, I think? Crazy. Oh my goodness. So crazy. Anywho, we missed seeing wildlife in a drive a few days ago. Yeah, I just went through about an hour ago, so I guess it was just the perfect time, right around dinner time for them probably. Okay, so let me put on my, that's not what I want. Kansas City or maybe Wisconsin. Yeah, maybe both. I thought you had stopped in Wisconsin because I thought we went to Starbucks down the street. That just sticks in my head, but who knows? Either way, it's been at least 10 to 15 years, 10 to 12 years, because I haven't been in Kansas City for at least that long, and Madison I've been gone more for sure, because I was in Madison 3 years and in Little Rock for about 7 years. So crazy. All right, I was cleaning my palette holder here since it had been sitting in the freezer for several weeks. Some of the paint was still usable, but we'll just start with a new bit of paint. Let me get some. We'll get started. Yep. Crazy. 10 or more years for sure. Crazy. How time flies. Too fast. Okay. Let me pull up. So a few weeks ago I went to Miami for work, and then I spent several days in Puerto Rico. I had not been back to Puerto Rico for since 1993, so it had been a few years. Had a good time, and so probably a few paintings over the next few weeks will be tied to that trip. The first of which is the one we're going to do tonight. Let me show you the reference. I did not resize this reference, so we'll have to, you'll notice that my canvas is square, so let me put that up. This is what we're painting, but I just love these trees and the light on the light on the wall. And so I thought, let's just do a little sketch of this. So yes, I was planning to get it all set up ahead of time, and then I went down to the store. Oh, I just ruined this glove. I went down to the store and took longer than I thought, and so I didn't have a lot of time. But I do want to do some of El Morro, and some of Old San Juan. So, and the beach probably. Got to do at least one beach scene just cause. Not sure those will all be in the live stream, but we shall see. So this this is a, let's see if I can get you guys a little more direct on, but you are above, so we'll kind of have to work this out. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work, but we shall figure it out as we go. CAD red, and see all my burnt sienna, I might need that. My blues, not sure I'll need the yellow, but I have all these paints out here, so I'm trying to see what I'll need. I'm just gonna kind of keep them all. This is such a mess. I'm so disorganized. I used to be better organized. So Need a little thing to hold this up. Alizarin crimson. Okay, so let's jump in and see what we can do. We'll have to just figure this out as we go. Pardon me for, I'm going to turn this for a minute. Then that gives me a little more space to work with. Okay, sorry about that. Don't mean to make you all ill. Okay, let me pull my, I want to see, I have to figure out how I'm going to do this. How we're going to do this composition. Because I want the tree to be the main thing, but I also like the fence and like the lighting on the fence. So let's give it some thought and see. If you all have comments or suggestions, feel free to drop those in the comments. Welcome, welcome those of you that are just popping in. So good to see you. Let's see if we can do a little bit of this. Taking just a little burnt umber or raw umber. No, it is burnt umber. And thinning it down with mineral spirits to do some kind of think see if I can do this with just my brain. I think I want to do this kind of, we'll just see. Something like that. I'm gonna take this out of there. There. Do this. where is, let's do this. Let's do roughly there. Perspective is really important, or it looks really strange. So that's why I'm kind of belaboring this a little bit. So we have to kind of condense this as well, because we are trying to figure out can't remember. Mom, if you're still on, can you remind me what these trees are called? I can't remember. But I just know they're so beautiful. So I want to give kind of the rough outline of the tree. Flamboyan tree. So and more than the composition, I'm trying to lay in the what I want to do is put a lot of shadow down here so that the eye is drawn up. This should draw us in, and this is almost like a little invitation just because of this. I basically moved this over, and because I want it to feel like, I want people looking at it to want to walk right back in there. So we'll simplify a lot of this back in here. It'll just be some shadows and some other shapes, but this will be the main. View. Looking forward to the rest of that great view. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, I want to do some paintings, this one and some others that are from the trip. I really want to do, I think I want to do a larger one of the Mayaguez Square with the cathedral at dusk, because it was so beautiful. So that's kind of what I want. I want to do a much larger, kind of like I did with Mont Saint Michel. I did this big painting that's in my living room now. Okay, let's put some start to put some values in. And that will give us a real sense of if this painting is going to work. I would love to see one of the plaza. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that one. I'll probably have to do some sketches of it first, but I don't know. Just because I think I want it, if I do it, I want to do kind of I want to do some that are like where I could hang it up, you know, like a real not just one of these small ones. I'm just messing around here again, getting my composition and trying to get the value balance laid in. Because that will tell me again if this is if it will be a successful painting. Will give me some ideas. And it helps lay out a real roadmap before I even get started. It's like pre-painting basically. This also gives me a chance to capture kind of and think through everything that I want to capture from the main. So we'll have the shadow of the tree back here, and of course we'll do all this detail here, but I think that will give us some place to go. And we're just going to get rid of this tree that's off to the left and the house that's out here. This will be okay. I think we pretty much have our composition down. So let's give some thought to how we're going to do this. Let us think. I want to go in and put in the sky. and I want to kind of, I think I want to oversaturate the sky a little bit. Because I really want the red to stand out. So what I'm trying to do more than accurately represent what I see is create the feeling. I want you as the viewer, when you see the painting or a viewer sees the painting, I want them to feel like they were there, or it's somewhere they remember being, or they could just walk right into the experience. That's really what I want to create, is this feeling that I had when I was there, of just, and it's still a feeling I have today when I look at pictures and images of, because I was only there 3 or 4 days. It's surreal. It was like, did I really do that, or did I? So, that said, I'm going to, maybe open this. There it is. I need to clean this. I don't know why it creates, there's no sugar in there, I don't think. It creates this weird, this is just medium that is linseed. I think it's, I want to say linseed oil. I can't remember what oil it is. And I honestly don't remember what, stand oil, not linseed, stand oil. But it basically just allows me to thin the painting down. So we'll put some blue. Let's go here. That kind of, it's going to be that really, we'll take just a little bit of white to turn it into kind of that sky color. But again, I don't want to desaturate the blue at all. I really want to keep it that just beautiful, like a bright, wanted that beautiful, intense blue, almost oversaturated blue. And we'll have to get this to cover, because this is a toned canvas. It won't tone, or it won't cover probably on the first. I just love that cerulean blue, how vibrant it feels. I'm going to do this upper portion, and I'm laying it on fairly thick, but I really want to think around the shape of the tree. And basically what I want to figure out is I want to carve out the sky around the tree. That makes sense. So I want the shape of the sky to help define the tree. I really love this piece that comes all the way out here, so I want to preserve that. Look how pretty that is. I know I keep saying that, but my goodness, it just makes me so happy. I also want to, the way they grow and kind of come all the way down and dip over, that I want to preserve that, like that feeling of I may have come too far in. Approximately. We'll see. Because there is this shape in which they grow. And so I'm going to put a few to just help guide me as I usually you go in and put these afterwards, but I want to draw them in, these sky holes, a little bit earlier, just so that I can get a real sense of where this because it's this tree that, I mean, they branch clear out, like, and I'll probably draw more. And it goes all the way. I can always cover this up. I may bring dark shadows back in, but I think we kind of have the shape of the tree. What do you all think? Do y'all feel like that's good? Maybe a few more, like on this side. Okay, there we go. I think it's pretty nice. Now let's see if I can cover up some of this underpainting again. Okay. Now, what next? I think we put in our darks. So, gonna try to, I think I can use the same brush. Whoops, sorry, I keep bumping that. I don't know. Let's see. I always wonder, I'm like, is anybody watching? I'm just sitting here talking to myself, it feels like, in some regard. And then I look up and it's like, oh yeah, there are people out there. So glad to have you all join. Again, those of you that joined late, some of you know, most of you know, but you can always comment or ask questions or give advice in the comments wherever you're watching, on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you are watching. So I'm going to take a little blue, a little brown, and we're going to make our standard pseudo black mix. And this will give us the probably the darkest values for this painting. So let's go in and carve out some of those. Just shadows, basically. And again, we're just like really simplifying this so that our eye doesn't go away from the tree much, because there's a lot happening in this actual, what was the actual, the actual image has a lot happening. I don't really want to emphasize that. Basically, that'll give us that wall back in there. We can take some of this, bring some more brown into it, and okay. Now, let's take I think I want to do with this same dark brush. I think now I want to start to bring in the greens and build up again the values. It's like a sap green. Let's take green with a little bit of this dark. We can start kind of this dark brown green. We can start to put in the we start to lay in the under color of the where we'll put the highlights. This is where we start to, on this side we won't have much of this at all. We'll just have a few little, but this will actually be the shadow. Over here will be this green. And we'll build up kind of layers, if that makes sense. kind of just want this to fade into some sort of shrubbery back there. I don't want a whole lot of that sticking out. So, I'll have to come back and fix this, but there we go. Now, let's see if we can put in the light greens. Now we're going to take this sap green and we want to put some yellow. So we want some, this will be how we will highlight our, it's really bright greens. I wonder if we need any, maybe a little yellow ochre. I'm not sure. Then maybe even a burnt umber. Because in order for the flamboyans, the flowers to look right, we're going to have to do some, basically put darks in and then the bright on top. So we need a middle, which is this, and a little, I think, yellow ochre will brighten up our little yellow ochre. Whoop. Nope, that's going to take us way down. Nope, that's not what we want to do. Just went. Okay. Sap green. Little bit yellow ochre. That gives us our vibrancy, I think. Mix all of this. Then what we want to do is come in, put some, this almost like a mid-tone green. Because if you just come in with super light, then it's not going to look the same way you think it will look in your eye. So you want to build up something for that light green to sit against. Now we want to bring way up our This is almost like a jigsaw puzzle. If you're watching the way I'm painting it, it's figuring out how to put the right values against the right, meaning the right lights against the right darks to make it look correct. All right, I'm gonna do, that's enough with that. Now let's see if we can come back and do some of the dark flamboyant color. So we're gonna take a little of this red, which is really burnt sienna. I learned this when painting colored leaves. You have to do a lot of, if you see leaves that are yellow, for example, beautiful yellow leaves, you have to do a lot of browns and oranges and reds in order for the others to look correct. So we're going to put these, really the burnt sienna is a brown tone, but it's a reddish brown. So we're putting that in, and what it should allow us to do is then it should allow the, when we put in like cad red or even some cad orange, then it should allow this to really stand out and give us that pop of that we feel when we see this in real life. And so again, I'm trying to, without destroying what I've built, I'm trying to create the shape and the feel of this tree organically. So I'm just tapping, pretty much tapping the canvas. And again, if we put in these reds in the shadows, even though your eye doesn't see it right away, then when you get up to the painting, you're like, oh, that's really interesting. There's all, you see all those cool marks. So we're coming way out. I really love how it like this tree grows in kind of a cascade, this type of tree. And I really want that feeling when you look at the painting. Where is this is more of the constant balancing act, figuring out how to. Hey Mark, thank you. It's so good to see you after I've been gone several weeks. Thanks for popping in. I really appreciate you popping in consistently to say hi. Okay. I think I have the shape of the tree. What do you all think? Is the shape pretty good? I think I brought maybe the sky down too far here, but that's okay. And I'll bring the sky in. Over here I can adjust. Okay. What do you think? What do you think? Okay. Now if we can take, I did the greens. Now I think I don't want to do, I think I want a new brush for the actual, like those bright reds, because the green will desaturate the reds. So actual red and orange I will want to do. I don't want to mix as much as possible because there's already green on the, so let's put this kind of right in there. I don't need that much red. Probably I put too much on my palette. Then I guess I don't need orange because I have yellow, so I can always mix. Let's see. Let's let that paper towel go. I'm going to get another one because paper towel is relatively inexpensive. Okay. Now let's take this red and begin to just put the shape of this will begin to, again, I'm using all basically right out of the tube because it's so, I want it to be oversaturated. Like, the key is to not mess it up. Oh, it's so pretty. Meaning the image, the painting is getting there, but now I can take that red because this has blue and green already on the canvas. I can mix it in and it will start to mix and give us the feeling we want, hopefully. So happy. See how all these brown, now they're appearing really brown because they're right against the red. But if we just went in with the color we see and put all these bright reds in, then like up in here there's not as much contrast, which there doesn't need to be because it's obviously closer to the sun, but it makes you feel like, oops, I mean, it doesn't look the same. So doing this, I don't want it to be so I don't want this to be distracting, which it feels like it is right now. So I need to build up some. Oops, that I didn't want there. There we go. Yeah, we can do these little bits on the edge that make it feel like it's just draping down, because that's also the feeling I love in these trees, is that they just kind of drape out over. See, if I do too much, then this will all get like really washed out, and it will lose the beauty of the brightness of the flower. So I don't want to do. But by keeping, remember we started with our those really dark shadows, and by keeping them without messing with them too much, then they really give us that three-dimensional effect we want. Oh my goodness, this is like when something works and it is working the way you want it to, it's just so cool. It makes me so happy. The bright reds. You know, are just really standing out beautifully. I'm doing almost right out of the right out of the now I'm going to start adding some yellow so we get kind of a peachy orange. Now let's go put some of that here. If we get that peachy orange, then we get even, but we have to use it sparingly to add contrast, basically, because everything over here is so bright already. We need to pick where we put that kind of orangish color. But again, if we pick the right places, then it gives us that three-dimensional the light reflects off of the flowers or the leaves in very different ways. See how just choosing where to put the orange really then putting it over here in the shadow side helps us to, if we put the red, bright red over here, then we would look like all of this was in the sun. But doing some of this, okay, I don't want to do too much. It's fun when it's working to go, 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 but I think we have some really pretty, like it's just really pretty. Again, I want the feeling of, I want it to feel like you're there. And so they say that John Singer Sargent would place 1 or 2 strokes, mix a new color, step back, paint 1 or 2 strokes. So, okay, let me. Okay, I like what's happening here. What is missing, or what needs some more? I will put in some I really don't want to touch it because I love the brushwork. You all can't see, maybe if I bring it up here, but you can see like the brush strokes. See how much texture is there? I love that. So I don't want to touch much. I don't want to touch much. Let me go back though to, I think I can come back to these greens. And we can put additional highlights on them. Now that we have more of the reds in, I want to build up where the sun is catching the green. Make it I don't want to distract too much, but once, because this was in bright sunlight, So it gives us the hint that there's other stuff going on. There's a lot of greens in the middle of these reds. And I think that's what makes these flamboyant trees interesting. One of the things is you have those bright reds, but then you have the greens in between. It's not just the whole thing of red flowers, if that makes sense. So I want to add some shadow here. In the midst of all this red, without destroying the red and the orange and the things we have. I want to make sure that they are surrounded by kind of a supporting cast, so to speak. Notice how just going in and putting in some shadows again is, or reinforcing some of the shadows, is making these reds pop out more than they were. It's crazy to me how this works. Yep. Okay. I'm reestablishing some of these upper shadows again to give us that 3-dimension on this side, 3-dimensional feel. But there are some pretty dark shadows in here. There's just not as many. So we'll pick a few spots to put Look at that. See how it all of a sudden looks so much more realistic. There. There. Beautiful. What do you think? What do y'all think? Now, what I want to do is take this same, like the darks. I want to see if I can do lay in some of the shadow here. Okay, now let me take this. What we want to do is make a kind of grayish color. We want it to be really Whoops. Sorry, I'm just holding this like this till so I can get the edge painted. Okay. Again, we want to there's a few. What we'll do is just bring some white into this, maybe a little of the peach, just to warm it up a little bit, because this is essentially a blue and this is orange, so that will warm up the, then we'll just do a few spots that are now. There are definitely some more peachy colors over here, so I don't know if we can, I'm trying to figure this out, if it's going to bring us too much into the light. I don't think so, because then we come all the way out. Then we need to do different. This is all a game of values. That's why I started and spent so much time on it. And it's going to be figuring out value balance to make it, see, that's a little bright, so it needs to come down. But it doesn't need to be as dark as down here. So we have to get a good mix and see if we can get something that is correct. Meaning the right balance so that it looks correct. And then we need some, there's a few spots that need to be darker. So we need to come in with not super dark, but up against this wall there's kind of a dark shadow, and it's going to be hard because it's going to be difficult because we're blending into wet paint at this point. But if we can the feeling that against that wall is a darker, then we need which I should have been more careful up here to do the same thing with the shadows. May have to come in and repaint them once it dries, but at least it gives us a start. Yep, I like that. Okay, now because we did that, now this brown looks out of place, doesn't it? So that needs to be kind of, let me bring this up here, needs to be established again. And then there were some spots that were lighter. So we'll come over here, we'll just do right along the edge, or try to do. There. We can do some down the side. Again, we don't want too much detail, but And I think this is I think I want to, where's my green? I think this was it. Thanks, Mark. So good to see you, and have a great evening. So what I'd like to do is put some of this green back in. Back behind here as kind of the ground color instead of a parking lot. I think I'd like to put some like illusion that there's grass back in here. We can do the same there. Then as it comes forward, we'll take more of, say, this kind of highlighted color. Because I don't want it to draw, I don't want it to be so bright that it draws away from the tree, but I definitely like it to be not the parking lot it was. So let's do that. We can some brightness, yep. And we'll bring that, might as well bring it right up. Yeah. Okay, now I think the values are all still balanced, like I'm really liking what this looks like. Now I think I want to put in this kind of orange, like really light. Except again, I'm gonna have to do another brush because I have to do really light green. This is white with, trying to decide what color that is. In the sun, it's like this green. Let's see what we get. It's kind of a Pepto-Bismol green. It's very diffused, which will take the white. That will do that for us. Maybe we can get what's already on our there. I think with a little yellow gives us the color we want. So now I have to start being very intentional, because these are architectural features. They will look really weird if they're not on 100%. So have to clean up those lines later. But I want to take this, and on this second one, it's just a little bit. We'll kind of put the lines, and then we'll go back and put shadows in. Okay. This is even fewer. It's going to be more shadows. So, and then the shadow color is this really almost bluish, pretty dark. Actually, I need to keep this brush for, I'm so used to acrylics where I just, oh, let me just mix this in. Let's go, let's do this green. Hopefully that's the, and by the time we're over here, we're pretty dark. Yep, that works. We need this dark. There, that works. This is a little high. We gotta, unless we bring this up, we're gonna have to take that down, which that is okay. Let's, there, something like that. We'll have to, then what we'll do is come back later when this is dried and put in the decorative detail work, because that will have to go over the dark. That's why I did dark over here, because it is just now we need to do, we're going to do the there. We really need the dark in between these two. So I'm going to come in right there, put it in, Again, we'll put the lattice work in. This is in the sun, so we can do and we have to come and adjust some of those. Points. I am really pleased with how this is going. Therefore, I am going to there. That really draws your eye up here, doesn't it? With this shadow falling across and this all being in shadow, it feels like you just want to walk across the street right into that space, and that's exactly what I wanted. And the reds just pop, pop, pop. I'm going to keep painting a little bit because we're so close, but I know we're coming up on time, so I totally understand if you have to go or don't want to stay. Please don't feel like you need to, but I want to do some of this finish work so that when I come back to this piece, there's just a few little touch-up things. So I want to do some branch, basically create some illusion of branches in here, and then the branches that are sticking out, of course. this is what. I don't want to overdo this, but there are these trees they have a lot of branches, or little, like, and I think I painted it much more dense in a way than it is. So I want to let me back up so I don't go crazy. Yeah, from a distance, 5-6 feet out, it's really pretty. So again, I want that feeling of it's just cascading down. Then I'll come in here. Actually, let me do that now since I have the blue. Let me just come in and try to fill in some of this. I'll have to come later and really touch it up, but because I wasn't sure how that I was going to take that whole house out, but obviously I decided to. So we want to definitely bring this sky in. Ooh, I'm throwing brushes all over. That is the way to get paint all over clothing. Yep, we'll clean that up more, but where is my dark brush? I think here. That's my blacks and browns. Let's see. There. Let me do a little bit more doctoring over here if I can. We'll see if it works. Not sure. There. I'll have to come back because it's getting muddy. But oh my, no, no, no. Nope, nope, nope. Don't want to mix that. I have used so many brushes today because I've mixed them all up, but this is a new one, so that messes up the whole thing, doesn't it? Oh well. We'll come back. We'll clean some of that up, put some more. But I am very pleased, very, very pleased with what we have done. It is beautiful. So pretty. And not sure which brush I used, but I'll use this one, I think. Trying to just go back and reestablish some of those greens. Remember what I said, how these trees are not just the, I don't want someone to mistake this for like a maple tree, for example. I want it to be clear this is not fall. This is a tree that is in full green and also has beautiful red. So that's what I am doing. So that so that it's clear, this is there are leaves also on this tree. Man, that just looks really nice, doesn't it? In my opinion. Okay, I'm going to quit messing with it, I say, as I continue to mess with it. Yeah, I really like how it turned out. I'm really proud of what I've done. So, and I've gone over time, so let me step back a bit. I'm going to put you all back on this camera, and then I'm going to turn this around to say good night, and that I hope you have a incredible evening. Those of you who were brave enough to, or bored enough to, stay with me all of the entire time. So let's close this, and I'll put you back here. All right. So this is the painting we did tonight, and I'm really, really pleased with this one. It was kind of last minute in that I didn't plan out quite ahead, but I am really, really happy with how this came together, composition-wise, values-wise, all the things. It really, really makes me happy, especially because if you've been here for any length of time, or if you've been around from the beginning, you remember how difficult it was for me to mix greens and to get natural looking trees. So this really makes me happy to be able to not only do this in acrylic, but also replicate something really nice in oil. So that said, I want to say thank you so much again for joining me this evening for the 148th episode of the Paint Party live stream. I will be here next week, Monday evening, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and I hope to see you there. Until then, I hope you have a great week, and see you next time.